The silent siege of Proxima was a tale that left my threat assessment protocols firing erratically, struggling to process the sheer audacity of human ingenuity. Jackson Hayes leaned forward, his voice low and deliberate as he recounted the story. First week, we did nothing, absolutely nothing. Just sat there in orbit, broadcasting on all frequencies, no messages, no demands, just white noise. Random patterns, meaningless data. The swarm tried to decode it, of course. Tried to find the pattern, the logic, a military strategy. There wasn't one. By the second week, the humans began broadcasting fragments of human culture news clips, music, but never complete songs. Just snippets of melodies, unresolved harmonies. Do you know what that does to a hive mind, Cragvor? Hayes asked, his voice dripping with dark amusement. Trying to complete patterns that were never meant to be completed? I didn't know, but the synthetics at their game table were visibly distressed, their metallic fingers twitching as if trying to process the chaos. In the third week, the humans escalated. They introduced scrambled fragments of human literature, Shakespeare, Kafka, Lovecraft stories about isolation, transformation, and the breakdown of reality. But the narratives were mixed, contradictory, designed to confound. The swarm's collective consciousness strained to make sense of it all, to find an underlying truth. There wasn't one. Hayes leaned forward, his voice dropping to a near whisper. Fourth week, we started broadcasting human dreams, brainwave patterns from sleeping humans, pure, unfiltered subconsciousness, random firing neurons. Chaos given form. The swarm's hierarchical mind structure tried to categorize it, analyze it, understand it. But human dreams don't follow rules. They don't make sense. They're not supposed to. By week 5, the first cracks appeared. Ships began moving out of formation, their perfect synchronization faltering. The hive mind was unraveling, overwhelmed by the contradictions and paradoxes of human chaos. In week 6, the humans introduced art not the clean. Geometric patterns favored by most species, but human art, abstract expressionism, surrealism, images that simultaneously meant everything and nothing. The swarm's collective consciousness began to fragment, unable to reconcile the irreconcilable. My threat assessment protocols were screaming now. This wasn't warfare as I understood it. This was something else entirely. Final week, Hayes said, his voice steady but carrying an edge that sent a chill through my exoskeleton. We broadcast laughter, just laughter. Thousands of hours of human laughter, joy, hysteria, sarcasm, fear. All the contradictory emotions we pack into that single sound. The hive mind couldn't handle it. Couldn't process how the same action could carry so many opposing meanings. The swarm retreated on day 49. 30,000 ships, millions of drones, one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy, defeated not by weapons or tactics, but by their inability to process human irregularity, their perfect unity shattered by our beautiful chaos. But that's not the best part, Hayes added, his voice taking on a sharper edge. The best part is what happened afterward. The fragments of the hive mind that survived, they evolved. Developed individual consciousness, started asking questions, started doubting. You didn't just defeat them, I said slowly, comprehension dawning like a supernova. You transformed them? Exactly, Hayes nodded. We didn't just win a battle. We introduced chaos into their order, doubt into their certainty, individuality into their unity, and that spread through their entire species like a virus. They call it the Great Awakening now. We call it psychological warfare. Stone was grinning openly now, while Turner continued his silent observation. Around us, the tavern's patrons showed various signs of distress. The synthetics had abandoned their game entirely, and even old Zach 9 had stopped pretending to clean glasses. That's what makes humans dangerous, Hayes concluded. Not our weapons, not our tactics, but our ability to take the fundamental assumptions of any species even one as ancient and powerful as the swarm, and turn them inside out. We don't just defeat our enemies. We make them question everything they thought they knew about themselves. I found myself doing something I hadn't done in centuries of combat, doubting my own assumptions. If humans could break a hive mind with nothing but noise and nonsense, what else were they capable of? Want to know the real kicker? Hayes added, almost casually. Everything I just told you might be completely true. Or it might be psychological warfare in action right now. That doubt you're feeling, that uncertainty, that's how we win. My drink remained untouched, my mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. Before I could formulate a response, Turner finally stirred, his quiet voice carrying unexpected weight. My turn, he said simply. Let me tell you about the last stand at Fort Hope. Looking at his calm expression, I wasn't sure I was ready for another revelation about human warfare. But I was beginning to understand why the older races warned their children about these deceptively simple creatures. Marcus Turner didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. When he spoke, the entire tavern leaned in, drawn by the quiet intensity of his words. Fort Hope wasn't really a fort, he began, running a finger along the rim of his glass. Just a research station on a frozen moon. 300 scientists, 200 support staff, and 50 security personnel. We were studying quantum tunneling effects, nothing military about it, until the Void Hunters found us. My antenna twitched at the mention of that name. Even I, with all my battle experience, avoided Void Hunter territory. For those who don't know, Turner continued, his eyes sweeping the now silent tavern. Void Hunters don't take prisoners, don't negotiate, don't show mercy. They consume everything in their path, leaving nothing but empty space behind. And we had something they wanted, something in our quantum research. Any rational species would evacuate when faced with Void Hunters, I stated confidently. Turner's smile made my exoskeleton feel 2 sizes too small. No, he said, we stayed, all 550 of us. Because behind our station lay the quantum gateway to Earth. If the Hunters took our research, they'd have the key to our home world, so we made our stand. 500 civilians against Void Hunters. My voice carried more disbelief than I intended. That's not warfare. That's suicide. Is it? Turner asked softly. Let me tell you what happened. Our first advantage was the moon itself. Temperature, minus 200 degrees. Atmosphere so thin it might as well be vacuum. Gravity at 0.3 standard. Conditions that would kill most species, to us. Just another Tuesday at the office. He paused, taking a small sip of his whiskey. The Hunters came in full force.